starry sky. Your smile's a mystery, makes me cry. Your hair's the thread, the fabric of my dreams. But a man is hardly ever man that you see. Mama's diamond rings.
You're watching a clip from a film that I made 56 years ago, combined with a soundtrack, a song that has nothing to do with the film, but is very provocative. It seems to be some guy who is having troubles with a girl. It got me. So I gave him permission to use my film. His name is David Petry, and we're going to be talking to him today about what he's doing, why he's doing it, how he's getting away with doing it. This is the 1960s. He's a 60s guy. So David, why did you pick this film?
I came out of a family that was, let's say, just a little dysfunctional. And so it took me a long time to get through my dysfunction to the place where I could write songs. I started when I was 13 writing songs, and then I quit. I didn't do it again until I was in my 50s, got back to it. And in the meantime, I had lived a lot of life as a scoundrel. I had lived a life as a guy, a white guy who could get away with stuff. I didn't do bad stuff, but I stole some stuff, and I broke some hearts, and I didn't care a lot. And so there's a thread through my music of this scoundrel, and the most telling piece of him that I remembered was when I got into a relationship with a female, I had an out before I was even in. I was so scared that they would discover who I was and who I wasn't, and that I couldn't be social, that I couldn't dance, that I couldn't be friendly, that I couldn't be a good mate. And so I was always on the way out. So that is this central part of this person that I write quite often about. I'm writing less about him now as I get over the scoundrelness in me, but I wanted to express that. Like, I don't feel like a lot of music expresses this scoundrel, and I wanted to express him as me now, aware of this scoundrelness, because that's what I was like then too. I knew I was a scoundrel. I knew I needed to get better. I didn't know how. Now I kind of know how. I'm in a fantastic marriage, like a best relationship of my life. And so that was the central guy, Get Gone.
Gone from the get-go, I'm leaning in the wind, I'm gonna get gone, get gone, get gone again. Gone from the get-go, I'm leaning in the wind, I'm gonna get gone, get gone, get gone again.
Now later I needed a band name, and the great Get Gone to me is this insane effort to get to Mars, this insane effort to leave this planet as if it's a heap. Like, what the hell are we doing?
Are you a child of the 60s? And how is the 60s, which I spent a lot of time on with my subscribers, how is that affecting you? What happened back then to you, and is that affecting you now?
That's absolutely where a lot of this comes from. But it was less the 60s, I think, than my dad. I was raised in Indiana, Kansas, Indiana. And then when I was in fourth grade, just before the fourth grade, between third and fourth grade, my parents moved us to Los Angeles. My dad used to sit on my bedside and sing cowboy songs. I didn't know. He was a tightly wound individual. He was a pediatric cardiologist, which meant that he operated on tiny infants. He did catheterizations in these kids. And so Baby Faye was a big deal in the 70s. Baboon heart into a child. He was the pediatric cardiologist at Loma Linda that was working on that. He was very tightly wound, though. So later in his life, he told me that he wished he'd been a cowboy. That's what he wanted to do. But he felt like he needed to earn money, so he became a doctor. And I think what he wanted to do was become Gene Autry. He wanted to be a singing cowboy. So now that I'm in my 60s and have gone through this process of adjusting my experience of my father gave me his intellect, he gave me his humor, he gave me his darkness, his cynicism. But he did not give me things like an ability to go out and play and be musical. He did not give me an ability to dance and sing and have fun. And it took me a long time to get through that. So I went through this boy named Sue phase, understanding what he did give me and what he didn't. And now I'm in a phase now where I just realize that I am actually living his dream.
You mentioned a woman in your life right now,
Yeah.
and I think I'm correctly saying it if I say she's like a muse, because I have a muse, and that motivates the hell out of me. I'm not sure that I would be making these YouTube videos without my muse provoking me every day. Are you experiencing the same kind of thing?
My muse is my wife, and she's not provoking me. She is giving me the space to like figure out and do, and like to be able to write a song. So I have a song on the new record called Misunderstanding where I write, she's younger than you know. She gets in clubs down on the row. Some nights she's barely wearing clothes. And to write that openly about the sexual experience of a being human is difficult. So you need a very stable, trusting place to be in. And to have that as an artist is huge. And to have somebody that's going through life in the same way that I am, curious, wanting to be a better human being, wanting to have fun at the same time and participate and play, all of that is just so key to this experience.
You don't have a lot of views on your YouTube videos. Your songs have not really boomed. The fourth novel, which seems very interesting to me, hasn't boomed. Do you care? Would you like success? Are you doing this with the hope of making money? What's driving you, and what about money? I mean, we all got to worry about it, I think.
Yes. So one of the things that I went through about 4 years ago is my wife and I both decided to become sober. So we both went through a 12-step program. One aspect of that was, like 12 steps, you have to have a God. And the first time through, I found a little patch that I could put on it that would last me through the 12 steps. I found this God that I could fabricate that was kind of scientific. The higher power thing became critical to me because my particular dysfunction was that I was very tightly wound. I had many, many, many goals. I really wanted to get out of the hole that I was in. So I lived close to the bone. When I decided to do this music thing, I wanted to go into a studio and just put down 10 or 12 songs just so I'd have a record. So I went into a studio in Goleta, California, which no one's heard of. And it's just this little town. And I walked into a studio, and Zach Madden owns a studio. It's an engineer in town. And it cost me a certain amount of money, and it was more than I had. And I walk away from that, and literally a week later, a lifelong friend sent me, or he passed away a couple of years ago. I received an inheritance from him unexpectedly. And so I received that money and I used it to produce my first record. So my first record came out 2 years ago. Now I would have promoted those, but my mother had a heart attack and then broke her wrist the next month and then went into hospice. So we had a year of hospice, and our family, which had before been like oil and water, trying to get as far away from each other as possible. We were still like that during the hospice, and I was in charge and I couldn't handle it. So I asked my daughter to take over. And so my oldest daughter took over, and her first comment when I asked her to do this was, well, we have to do it my way. We have to be fair. We have to be honest with the help, people that are helping us out. We have to do this out of love, and everybody in the family has to come together and participate. And ever since that day, the flow of the family has been back to the family, back to the center. My brother, who's been out of the family for 30 years, she pulled back in. Me, who's been just a dick in the family, she pulled back in, gave me instructions, told me how to live my life during this period, gave us all jobs. It was the best year of my mother's life.
Gotta hope someone answers when comes the time. I try to tell you about the things that I see, but a man is hardly ever the man that he sees.
I'm always complimented when an artist and I call you an artist and a self-expresser, uses my old film. That's my first professional film, 57 years ago, just about. And it's just got something special. But most of the people who use it are country music people. You're not writing a country music song. Thank God you put the words at the bottom of the screen. Why did you connect that film to this very provocative, I'm not the man I seem to be kind of a song that you wrote?
So that's a great question. That's another higher power moment for me. I was talking to a videographer that I've worked with before, Oscar Bucher, and he was asking, like, what songs would I want to concentrate on first to do a video? And I said, Get Gone. And he said, what do you have in mind? And I said, well, I'm thinking like an Appalachian dance of some sort, clog or buck dance. And he said, well, show me what you're thinking, find a reference and get back to me. I hung up the phone. I went on the internet. I searched for clog dance. Best clog dance video ever showed up, which is your video. I turned it on. I turned the volume down, turned the volume up on Get Gone, and it fit.
I actually thought that you recorded the song to my film, because my film and the song went like that. But I was very intrigued by the words. It sounds like you're writing to someone.
I think I'm writing to myself probably more than to someone. And maybe an apology to all the people who I went through their lives, I feel like I came in like a train wreck.
I'm on edge, like a rock up on a hill. I've got my checkbook out, but I can't pay my bills. A blonde and a brand new Thunderbird is cruising down the street, but a man is hardly ever the man that he sees.
Were you what we used to call a ladies' man?
No, I think I would have liked to think of myself as a ladies' man. No, I did my best and did my worst, at the same time.
As a person who's always been an independent documentary filmmaker, that means a lot. I never worked for anybody. I really admire people like you who have gone on a path, you don't know the outcome, and you're not just interested in success for the hell of it. Although I would like you to have success, because the songs that I heard were gorgeous. They're very personal. It's easy to understand the words. A good band behind you. So I'm doing this video in part for my subscribers, in part to wish you, David Petry, good luck in your future efforts to express yourself.
Thank you. That's very, very generous. And I really appreciate this opportunity. Success would be all right. Interestingly, when my brother had a band and I was writing songs for his band, I was his roadie. I was their roadie. It was great. I was 13 and I'd go dance with a woman at the bar, and in the middle of the song, it was a slow song, and I get to say, I wrote this song. And that was one of my early womanizing efforts. Never got successful with that one. But yeah, it's, the success part, I think, with music is difficult. Most people I work with in music, I believe, are landing a Cessna in Oklahoma. That's their goal. So they set out and they say, I'm going to do this thing, and they work into it as a guitarist or a singer or whatever. They find themselves coming into music, and then they begin setting their goals. And their goals are to sound like something or be like something, like they have a favorite band or whatever, and they want to emulate. I don't know where it comes from, but somehow most people in music seem to target a low, simple landing for what they're after. And to me, the success or failure of my music is about, I call it landing a 747 in New York as opposed to the Cessna in Oklahoma. I'm going to shoot big. For me, I just want to play music and have fun. Like I worry about, at my age, I don't want to go on the road I would love to do a 10 city tour or something, but I don't want to be on the road, That's hard work.
Thank you for doing this with me and sharing yourself as honestly as you do. That's a key to success in my view. fake baloney doesn't work for me. I can spot it. And you know who can really spot it? Millennials. They can tell baloney right off the bat on a video. So I want to wish you luck and keep on going with the honesty and the honor that's driving you and your team.
Thank you so much for doing this with me. I'm very honored that you allowed me to use your video. First of all, it's such a pure, that is a pure honest statement. And I am stunned that it's your first. I mean, I love that in our video at about 3 minutes and 18 seconds in, we have the Alfred Hitchcock moment of you in the mirror with the camera passing through. I just love that.
When I'm gonna get gone, get gone, get gone again. I'm gonna get gone, get gone, get gone again. I'm gonna get gone, get gone. I'm leaning in the wind. Your smile's a mystery, makes me cry. Your hair's the thread, the fabric of my dreams. But a man is hardly ever man that he sees. Mama's diamond rings, my daddy's silver stars. We're trying to make something that stirs the blood. We're parked out at the edge of town where the wildcat screams. Man is hardly ever the man that he sees. Gone from the get-go, I'm leaning in the wind. I'm gonna get gone, get gone, get gone again. Gone from the get-go, I'm leaning in the wind. I'm gonna get gone, get gone, get gone again. I'm on edge, like a rock up on a hill. I've got my checkbook out, but I can't pay my bills. A blonde and a brand new Thunderbird is cruising down the street. But a man is hardly ever the man that he sees. Gone from the get-go, I'm leaning in the wind. I'm gonna get gone, get gone, get gone again. Gone from the get-go, I'm leaning in the wind. I'm gonna get gone, get gone, get gone again. Got your number, babe, you got mine. Gotta hope someone answers when it comes the time. I tried to tell you about the things that I've seen, but a man is hardly ever the man that he sees. Gone from the get-go, I'm leaning in the wind. I'm gonna get gone, get gone,